Yeah, I'm going to try a little experiment here, and actually, hopefully somebody will see this video and chime in because I'm doing a little bit of a guesswork. This is a portable version of a Lakhovsky coil. It's not a true Lakhovsky coil, but it's got a lot of the aspects to it. Sometimes I don't think you really have to have the genuine McCoy, but it does produce a lot of frequencies up in a real high-end range. And it's supposed to bring some healing frequencies deep into the cells by, bring it up the frequency of the cells that are not up to optimal, right? That's the theory behind it. And that's what people who maybe look at this, let me put it this way, it's all experimental. But what I started thinking was, I was wondering if this could be used in conjunction with a frequency generator. Very carefully, and I'm going to show you what I've been doing. I'm going to turn this on. Well, actually, I'll tell you what it is. What I do is I have a weight belt on, or a back brace belt on, actually. And what I have is you can see this. Yeah, that's probably showing up. You can see I got this frequency generator running on a square wave at 465. That's for fungal issues. And I got it going through the waist, basically, through this belt here, through wires. I'll have to show it to you in other ways. But what happens is, what I started thinking is, what you could possibly do is use this in conjunction with this. Basically, the the Lakhovsky coil could be working like carrier waves for this healing wave, which is for fungal issues, candida, whatever it is. Now, you can do this with diet and stuff. But the thing is, you can't have this frequency. I'm holding this. I don't have this device on. The Lakhovsky coil, it would actually screw this up. What I was thinking is, if you turn where you are away from it, and you have the device on the opposite side of your battery, of your body, you can actually go ahead and turn the coil on. And I was using it that way, where and I haven't seen any kind of problem with this device. This is actually a battery operated device, and you can see the voltage. Let me see if I can get the screenshot on here. See the voltage? 7.3 volts peak to peak. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can actually feel it. I'm using some cotton pads, and it's with a saline solution. They're soaked in saline solution, so it's actually producing, it's actually making good conductivity of electricity. So I have the device, this Lakhovsky coil, behind me. Now, you don't want to have this device close to this. In other words, it's way on the other side of my body. So when I turn this on, the Lakhovsky coil, So in other words, that's going through where the back is, basically, away from this actual electronic component here, but it's bringing these waves into the body, and this is also going into the body too. So I'm assuming, I may be wrong, but I'm making this assumption that it's probably bringing this healing frequency deeper into the body, where you could possibly use both of these devices together. And considering that this coil does put out a lot of different waves, a lot of different carrier waves. I don't know if you call them carrier waves, but carrier waves are ones that are up in the high-end megahertz. And what happens is, this healing wave does not actually go that deep into the body. This 465 or whatever you want to call it. This is one of the proven. This is actually a Rife frequency that's actually a good one. It actually works. 464, 465. But in conjunction with this, I'm assuming, and it's just a theory, that this will bring that carrier wave deeper into the body. Now, you can't use handhelds with this. You can't use handhelds with this at all. What I'm using is a type of belt, and I have these pads connected like this. And these are wet with saline solution, and they're on the body. And they're below the belt, a belt that I'm wearing. So I think this might be a very good approach to doing this, like I'll show you the setup here in a second. Basically, it's simple, but it may work. It may work. You know, sometimes the cheapest things out there are the best, because there's so many things. This is basically just a belt. It's a back brace belt. This isn't a weight belt. This is actually an easy one. It's a back brace belt. So you have this device, and you don't want to short these two sides out, and you have it on your body on each side. And when you turn this device on, you can see it's, hopefully I'm getting a good shot at that, if you could read that. Sometimes this camera doesn't pick up that LED screen, but it's running at 465. Let me see if I can get that in there. Yeah, there it is. It's running at 465, and it's running about 7.8 volts peak to peak. That's actually pretty good voltage. And see, this thing, I like this. It's only like $100-something bucks. It's just a plain portable frequency generator. And the way it works is, you plug it in. You can use battery power. But I wouldn't plug this in if I was using it near the Lakhovsky coil. But I'd be very careful how I use this. In other words, when I'm using the Lakhovsky coil, this is on the opposite side. So I'm not getting a spark going from here to here. So far, I haven't had any problem ruining this device. It's not that expensive though. It's only like $100-something bucks. But it's an experiment, because I was thinking, this frequency is traveling from one side of the torso to the other side of the torso. And actually, I'm going to tell you one thing: the handhelds, paddles, and the foot things, the real part of the body that has the most problem with parasites or diseases or microbes is in the gut area. That's where 90% of it is. So you'd actually want to set it up this way. But I could see one big drawback is that this is a high voltage device. If you get too close to this, it can go right to this and zap you. It could be dangerous too. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with it because I use a little common sense. In other words, I don't get that close. I stand about that far away. That's, if you go this close, you're going to get, the sparks are going to jump right across. But I was assuming that this puts out a large array of different, very high-end frequencies. And any one of those, a lot of the frequencies, I'm assuming, will work as carrier waves with this healing wave that's right here. So in other words, if you take this, I'm experimenting with this. This is my own thing. I'm not recommending you do this. But I really like the theory behind this, because this could be a dirt cheap way of actually using something that's a little closer to what Rife did. In other words, the real problem with a simple frequency generator is that it doesn't get deep in the body. That's one problem. The other problem is it's too simple. It's too simple a wave. But when you're running these other waves with it, let's see if this camera's going to focus in. It's still running. When you're running these other waves with it, you can read the LED readout. It's a square wave running at 465, and the voltage is 7.8 volts. That in itself is not even that bad. And I like this little thing because it's cheap. You could actually use this thing hands-free, to set up hands-free. And it's, it was only like $100-something bucks. It's not intended to be used as a medical device, but it's battery operated and everything. But I started thinking, I says, what would happen if you use this in conjunction with this? But I'm saying you really would have to be very careful. Like I said, I face my body in the opposite direction. This will be on the opposite side of my body. And this is actually protected from the direct sparks and all that, and I don't get too close. But I'm assuming a lot of the waves that are coming off of here, the frequencies, they're still traveling out through this far. And it's not enough to hurt this electronic component, but I'm assuming it's driving this frequency deeper into the body. And, you know, lo and behold, this may possibly be very effective and cheap. You know, I've never heard of anybody putting this out, so I really like some feedback on it from some experts. But I'm saying if you try this, be careful. And you don't want to hold metal contacts. You know, this is a hell of a lot better than holding a metal contact. This is a you know, cloth. It's not as electrical conductive as a metal contact, even though it's soaked in saline solution. Plus, this cloth is on the opposite side, so it protects, you know, somewhat from a spark from this device jumping directly to the cloth. I think if the spark jumped to this cloth, this could be destroyed. So you have to be careful, but I think the theory will work, and it may work extremely well. I'm not sure. I'm experimenting with it, but it seems to be a novel approach that nobody ever thought of, and it's too simple, too cheap. But you're combining a hell of a lot of different carrier waves, potential carrier waves, with the healing wave, and that's the beauty of it. It's not even just one carrier wave. This thing produces a lot of different frequencies, many different frequencies. So that may be a very novel approach. I don't think everybody's done it, but you know, it may work. But if you use this method, be extremely careful.